Hi, Happy New Year. It is January 1st, 2025. Get used to saying 2025 now. And I hope you are well today and having a good first of the new year. I hope the whole new year turns out great for all of us. And I'm going to start out with a little personal story about my prayer for last year. Um, and how that worked out. And then I'm going to go into, and it all relates, this all ties together. And then I'm going to go into an introduction to the seven seals, okay, of Revelation. Really very interesting to hear about. And I'm cutting it into two parts because I don't want it to be too long. I hate when the YouTube videos are so long. I like to try to keep them brief, and I'm going to try not to talk too much. Okay, so I just want to tell you first, at the end of 2023, towards the end of 2023, um, I prayed a few times for something, and God answered my prayer as I asked. And that was really exciting for me. And so the first half of the year 2024, I was enjoying that answer to prayer. And then it started to kind of go a little sour. And so the beginning was very sweet, then it started to go a little sour. And around mid year, I realized that it was wrong and it just was not a good thing. And now, usually when I pray, I always ask for God's will. And maybe I forgot to ask for God's will. Or maybe God just decided to answer my prayer, um, even though it wasn't right and good for me, that it would be a lesson for me, something that I needed to learn. It revealed some things to me that it was really good. I mean, the whole year dealing with what I had to deal with, it all worked out good for the best because all in all, it brought me closer to God. God showed me things about myself. He showed me that it was a selfish prayer that He answered for me. It was not the best thing for me. It wasn't what He wanted for me. And other things he showed me also in that, and so I'm really thankful how God works things out. And a lesson for all of you: be careful what you pray for in this new year. Be careful. Don't pray for prosperity here on this earth, material things. Pray for spiritual things. That's what you really need. And pray for your needs to be met, your physical, material needs, um, to take care of yourself and your family. Yes, but prosperity is coming, coming in the new world with Jesus in heaven and on the new earth later. So be careful what you pray for. Okay, so this morning I prayed about doing this thing about the seven seals because it had been on my mind for a couple weeks. I was thinking about that I might want to do this, but I never felt like it was the time wasn't right. I didn't feel confident about doing it. This morning when I prayed, I asked God if it was a good message because it was on me today that I should do this. And after I prayed, and I actually, in my prayer, I actually asked him, have the seals been open? And that's one of the reasons that I was hesitating to do a study on the seven seals because I wasn't sure if they had already been opened or not. And so I prayed, and I don't often ask God for direct questions like that. I'm just learning to do that because I think I'm learning to hear from Him better. I usually would just ask for His will and pray for things that I knew was in His will. But I just asked Him, are the seals open? And then I stopped and waited for an answer. And he gave me very clearly Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 28 is what I saw. Um, Ezekiel 3:28, and I went to that, and there is no Ezekiel 3:28. It ends at 27. So then I thought it was Ezekiel 2 and 8. 2 and 8 is what he wanted me to read. And when I read Ezekiel 2, it blew my mind because it was the perfect thing to go with what I asked about, are the seven seals open? And should I do this? Should I do this message on YouTube? So Ezekiel 3:2 says, this was God talking to Ezekiel. Now I feel like God's talking to me. I also want to preface this with, I've said it before, but when I was first born again, when I asked God to show me what he wanted me to do for him in my new life, he gave me Ezekiel 3:16, which I know he's given to a lot of people on YouTube. Yes, because it is Ezekiel 3:16 says that I am to be a watchman. I'm to be a watchman, and I'm supposed to give warning to God's people. So that's what I'm doing, and that's what these other YouTubers are doing also, and many of them, even have watchmen on their channel name and all. So Ezekiel 3:2 and 8. Well, I read 2 through 8, and I'm going to read the whole thing to you now, 2 through 9, so you can get some more context. So I opened my mouth, and he gave me the scroll to eat. Then he said to me, Son of man, which I will say daughter, okay? Then he said to me, Daughter, eat this scroll I am giving you. Fill your stomach with it. So I ate it, and it tasted as sweet as honey in my mouth. Remember that. Then he said to me, Son of man, daughter, go to the people of Israel. Now also remember, people of Israel, this is the Old Testament. Ezekiel was in the Old Testament. In the New Testament, we learn that all the promises of Israel go to all believers in Jesus Christ, whether they are Jewish or not, to all Gentile believers, which is everybody who's not Jewish. So anybody who's a believer, whenever God is speaking directly to Israel, we can consider that as a message to us. Okay. I am not speaking to people who speak another language that is hard to learn. Instead, I am sending you to the people of Israel. You are not being sent to many nations whose people speak other languages that are hard to learn. You would not be able to understand them. Suppose I had sent you to them. Then they certainly would have listened to you. And that reminds me that Jesus said a prophet is not accepted in his own town or his own country or his own town. The people closest to me probably don't accept that I'm having this special calling, which I'm feeling, because they just see me as Susie, who they know. They don't see me as anybody special in God's eyes. We're all special in different ways. But anyway, a prophet is not recognized by those closest to him. I'm not a prophet, but these words went to Ezekiel, who was a prophet, and now God's given the words, laying them on my heart. And I'm a watchman, not a prophet. But the people of Israel do not want to listen to you. That is because they do not want to listen to me, God says. You don't want to listen to me, you don't want to listen to God. As long as I'm in his word, right? I'm speaking from his word here. But I will make you They don't want to listen to me. All of the Israelites are very stubborn, but I will make you as stubborn as they are. I will make you very brave. So do not be afraid of them. Do not let them terrify you, even though they refuse to obey me. So God is making me brave. So I'm giving his message, and here I am. Okay, now I'm going to go to more to explain about the scroll and uh, as an introduction to the seven seals. Okay, in Revelation chapter 10, I'm going to read. Then I saw another mighty angel coming down from heaven. He was wearing a cloud like a robe. There was a rainbow above his head. His face was like the sun. His legs were like pillars of fire. He was holding a little scroll. It was lying open in his hand. The angel put his right foot on the sea and his left foot on the land. Then he gave a loud shout like the roar of a lion. And that reminds me that Jesus is the Lion of Judah. He's no longer a little baby like we were just thinking about being in the manger on Christmas. He is the Lion of Judah, and he will come with a roar. When he shouted, the voices of the seven thunders spoke. When they had spoken, I was getting ready to write, but I heard a voice from heaven say, "Seal up what the seven thunders have said. Do not write it down." I had seen an angel standing on the sea and on the land. This angel raised his right hand to heaven. He made the promise in the name of God who lives forever and ever. Now, I gotta say here that this angel always reminds me of the Statue of Liberty, because I'm picturing it as like the Statue of Liberty. I picture one foot on land, one on the sea, and I think of the Statue of Liberty holding his hand up, with the torch, and he has a book in the hand of Statue of Liberty, which I'm thinking like the scroll, and the Statue of Liberty was a gift to the United States, and it stood for good things, um, freedom, and blessings as a gift. So it just reminds me of that. And the Bible can be taken on many levels, okay? Because it's definitely not meant for only America, but I think it might be especially for America because um, America can be thought of as Babylon. Um, it might be thought of as the greatest nation on earth and the most evil because all nations have followed after the sinful ways of the United States, the pride and arrogancy. And anyway, we're going to go on. Okay. Um, chapter 10, verse 6 of Revelation. He made a promise in the name of God who lives forever and ever. This is the God who created the sky, the earth, the sea, and all that is in them. The angel said, "There will be no more waiting. God's plan will be carried out. This will happen when the seventh angel is ready to blow his trumpet." God told all this to the prophets who served him long ago. Then the voice I had heard from heaven spoke to me again. It said, "The angel is standing on the sea and on the land. Go and take the scroll from him. It is lying in his hand." So, in a sense, I'm taking the scroll and I'm eating it for you. So I went to the angel and asked him to give me the little scroll. He said to me, "Take and eat it. It will become sour in your stomach, but in your mouth it will taste as sweet as honey." I took the little scroll from the angel's hand and ate it. In my mouth it tasted as sweet as honey. Remember, Ezekiel told me to that it would be sweet in my mouth. But when I had eaten it, it became sour in my stomach. And that's why when I read in Ezekiel, he reminded me that people will reject your message and people will dislike you for it, and it will be hard for me to take. It won't all be sweet. The idea of giving warnings from God is not easy to swallow and digest. And it's not easy for people to accept the idea of the seven seals can be very sweet to those who are looking forward to going to heaven, to seeing Jesus, who believe in the last days and are looking forward to the rapture. It's like the sweetest taste to them to hear all these words. And they have a hunger for it, and it tastes delicious. But when they think about it, pray about it on a deeper, another level, it's bitter because we think of the people that don't accept the message. We have compassion and sorrow for those who reject it, who don't want to hear it, who cannot celebrate and be happy in it, the ones who are scared, or the ones who don't believe, the doubters, the ones that make fun of us. That's the sour, bitter part. Okay, and I have a scripture that goes along perfectly with that, um, from Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20. How terrible it will be for those who say that what is evil is good. How terrible for those who say that what is good is evil. How terrible for those who say that darkness is light and light is darkness. How terrible for those who say that what is bitter is sweet and what is sweet is bitter. I want you to think about that, meditate on that, and pray about it. It reminds me of friends of mine, okay? I have friends who are not believers, doubters, and they don't want to hear this message. I mean, even when I just in conversation bring up something about Jesus, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear, especially anything about the end times. God is coming soon. Jesus is coming soon. Get ready. They don't want to hear anything like that because they don't believe it. Some of them, even my Christian friends, very sadly, don't want to hear it because they're scared. They're afraid. I don't know if maybe in their heart they don't feel ready. I don't know, but they're afraid of it. Maybe they don't want to hear about it because they're thinking of their loved ones that are going to possibly be left behind. And but I hope you are looking forward to my second part. Um, I just want you to digest this a little bit, and it's a lot for me also to go through all this, you know. So I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to come back with part two um, for you about where I'm actually going to open the seals for you. Okay, I'm glad you watched.